Hello, friends. It's great to have you with us once again. We're up to show number 44, and I'm Stephen J. Murphy, been off for a few weeks, and sitting right next to me, Princess Viv. How you doing?
Oh, thank you, King Steve. It's so wonderful to have you back.
Yeah, well, it's I can't believe really how fast it's gone. And I just the other night I was looking at some of our past shows, and I thought, gee, that's show 40 and show 39, and here we are up to show 44. So
I think it's gone really quickly, don't you?
Well, it is, but friends, are you with me in saying as well, look, I think we all say this, is it because we're getting older, the years are just flying by. Now here we are into August, and a reminder how quickly it goes past. We say a very special welcome to Mitchell Coombes tonight.
Oh, thank you. Good evening.
Oh, my
gosh. It's great to be back, and it's great to be here. Thank you for having me on the program.
Because it was March this year.
Oh, and you're correct. Time is just melting away.
Yeah.
But I love Christmas. I'm so excited.
It's my favourite. I'm like a kid when it comes to Christmas. I've got to put up the tree, the family, it's the big deal. And I even want wrap presents. When people say, do you want a gift card? I say, no, go and buy me a present. I want to wrap
even
it.
just when you wrap presents at Christmas time, I know we should be talking about Christmas, really. We're scaring people.
Well,
but,
the thing
is to actually wrap presents with intention. So I always teach at Christmas time, when you're wrapping a gift or you're wrapping a present, you wrap with intention, you put love and positive feelings into that, because I believe that the recipient or the receiver receives that energy,
Absolutely.
But Christmas can also be a hard time for a lot of people too, so, but you're right, the year is just melting away, but it's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, talking of special times, special people, another lovely lady sitting next to you, Anya Petrovic. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's lovely to have you join the show tonight as our special guest. So we really look forward to hearing the information you've got. It's profound. You've made some profound discoveries, and we really look forward to hearing about that. But firstly...
Well, actually, he told me before I even had a slightest idea.
Now, that was in December 2008, correct? You had a reading with Mitchell, and Mitchell did tell you about what we're about to talk about tonight.
That's fantastic. And you contacted up the producers of the show and said you wanted to come on and share.
Yeah,
this is exciting.
Yeah,
yes.
Because, I mean, it was so precise. And the thing is, I usually don't go for readings, and I have some, and I happen to be in Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, and I went for completely different reason to buy a dress. And I was just passing Mitchell's stand, and for a twinkle of a second, I had eye contact with him. And that second, I just knew I needed to have reading with him. I didn't know why.
And that was all the way back in 2008.
Yes.
And here we are.
9 years later. Is that 9 years? Wait, I got the math right.
Yep.
9 years.
It's nearly a decade later, and you guys are sitting here together talking about the evolution of the embryo that you saw that long ago.
And can I just say, that's such a rewarding thing for me, because I've, been doing this work now for a number of years, and it's just so beautiful when you do hear of people that, I hear from people all the time that say, I had a reading with you many years ago, or you stopped me on the street and you gave me a message from my loved ones, or I've even had people, I've been out eating at restaurants and things, and people come up to me and say, see this baby? You predicted him when I was told I couldn't have children, and I look at the baby in the pram or in the stroller and I think, wow. So it's so lovely to see things come full circle.
and to be sitting here tonight for us to experience it too, it just fortifies what we do for our work on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, all this was almost like impossible, and I came to the stand, but of course I was told that he was already booked, and I said, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll just take a card and I'll book, the session next week. And then when I went, oh no.
You would have been told there was a waiting list.
Yeah, and it was like I have to wait for years, and I was, And I decided to write him an email, and I said, I saw your eyes, and I just knew I had to do a reading with you. And I was pleasantly surprised when I had the response just next day saying, oh, isn't that interesting? I sent my friend to you a year ago. When I saw your eyes, I said, you can trust this healer. So he knew about me.
Because many years ago, I had a friend come to me with some brochures of different healers that were offering healings at the time. And my friend said to me, Mitchell, you know, what do you think? Is it safe? Should I go for a healing? And I said, well, you've got to go with what feels right for you. But I saw it was Anya's flyer or something that my friend had. And I said, I really feel very drawn to this lady for you, though. I mean, I didn't know you from Borough Soap. And we haven't spoken for however many years, 9 years apparently. It's been 9 years because... And anyhow, and I said, and the reason why I feel you need to go to this healer is I'm very drawn to her eyes, and I feel that you'll have a connection, because I really believe that the eyes are a window to the soul. And so my friend went along and had the healing, and that was that. So fast forward, I was at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, is what you're talking about, and Anya had come up to my stall hoping to book an appointment, discovered there was a waiting list, and sent me an email. And I knew straight away who this lady was, because I looked at the name and I thought, this looks like, because you have a picture on the bottom of your email back then, I don't know if you still do, but and I thought to myself, that looks like the lady that I sent my friend to. And so when Anya wrote to me, I was very drawn to you at the Mind, Body, Spirit and your eyes. I remembered sending my friend to her because I felt a connection to the eyes. So there was a connection. It was just quite profound. And so I'd given you a reading, and I actually never retain what I remember what I say in readings.
But it lasted for an hour and a half. I have everything recorded, and you know, I just took, I wrote down exactly your words.
Oh, okay.
Because, you said, because at that time I was doing reconnective healing and I didn't have any idea, you know, why would I do anything different? You know, and you said, your business is going to be very different from that you're doing now. It is a special project. In June, July next year, there is a strong energy showing you what is that you need to do, something different. It is a huge potential. I see that you are in the right path. I see that you are making a strong move. I can also see you writing a book. I was like, oh, me writing a book, why would I write a book? No, it is not about that what you do now. It is very different. You will discover a new concept. It will be well received. And, you know, it sounded nice, but I just couldn't believe it. I mean,
at the time,
at the time, you told me some things that were spot on that I knew that happened.
But this
like
was
with
obviously
my
a prediction.
Father, But that was a prediction, and I didn't have a clue that something like this would happen. And you said that you can't be really sure about the times, but it was on the spot, like on 10th July, which is Tesla's birthday. The story, my fairy tale, which was later, you know, scientifically confirmed, started happening.
Wow.
Because that day, I happened to be in Belgrade. I rented some place to work from, and this morning, for no reason, I came earlier, and I was just standing at the window and enjoying the sun on the roofs of Belgrade, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, two completely white doves came straight to me, picked the windows in front of my eyes, moved their wings as two ballerinas following the same choreography, and flew away. And that filled me with some joy, but I couldn't connect it with anything. And then a client came, and she was on a table, and I was doing what I believed was reconnective healing. And then I heard the voice in my head. I mean, I'm a psychologist, we call it schizophrenia. When you hear voices in your head.
Depends what kind of voice you hear, but that's good, yeah.
Yeah, well, so I heard the voice, Tesla healing. You need to reconstruct Tesla healing. And my first reaction was, what a nonsense, like Tesla and healing, because of course I knew who Nikola Tesla is. He invented everything modern technology is based on, and then erased from history because he had found out how we could use free energy. But Tesla and healing and who am I to reconstruct something a genius Tesla invented? So, you know, I just couldn't make sense. And then the message repeated, and that day I had 9 messages telling me I needed to do something connected to Nikola Tesla. And then it took me 9 months. You know, it's 999, 9 months.
And 9 years.
And 9 years. 9 years later, we're sitting here.
Yeah,
that's so true.
It might be symbolic, like, you know, for all that all puzzles to come in place. And yes, it is huge. It's much larger than myself. It is, I call it Tesla metamorphosis. And I have to explain why we have that privilege to have Tesla's name in the name of modality. It is because we can access Tesla waves. The difference among modalities is not in how we wave our hands. I mean, we can be a bit more theatrical or less theatrical, but the difference is what frequencies of energy we can access. In other words, what frequencies of consciousness we can access. Because Tesla was aware that energy is not just a mechanical movement of particles, that he is dealing with consciousness. And that is what he called active ether.
So just to kind of give it a brief summary, a lot of the viewers at home to understand in kind of layman's terms, you know, like if someone explains something about finances to me, I say, tell me in terms of an olive tree. How many olives are on the tree? And they're each dollar. And where do they go? And what does that do?
And even then, I still have trouble following.
I know. And they say, well, if you put this many olives here. So you've written a book, and this information is all in this book. And 9 years later, you predicted it 9 years ago. Now it's here, and you've come together with people that we discussed before that have had this understanding on how to harness this technology, how to unify it and turn it. Now, you're a very, very celebrated woman yourself. You've completed your studies at the Australian
College of
Applied Psychology. You're also you're the founder of this, and you're also a professor of world literature. You've had 3 October prizes. Is that correct? In both poetry as well as scientific literature. So you're a very, very bright lady, and Tesla was a very, very bright man.
Oh, well,
and
we can't compare.
No, but I think to say safely, you know, with the limited time we have, that what you've really uncovered here, that you had said all these years ago, is a profound form of healing. And from when I was reading the research before we came on the show, it's having, you know, there's a lot of great things that are happening, and you have to feed back to me very briefly for the guys at home what it is actually doing now that we've come this together, because everybody needs to read the book to understand how it came together and what is the outcome of this.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about it, you mentioned I finished some universities, but people might not see the door of a school to be a good healer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact, and that is why I go around the world and I teach. I spend most of the year traveling. I make 2 circles around the world each year. And what is really important about this Tesla metamorphosis and what makes it different from other modalities, it is that we can access Tesla waves. I already told you. Tesla didn't call them Tesla waves. He called them non-Hertzian waves, underlying that they are different from Hertzian, not just in frequency, but also that they are multidimensional and they are in domain of a new physics. Those are Tesla's words. So we can't measure them, but thanks to a special camera invented by Dr. Harry Oldfield, we can make photos of them.
Yes.
So it was...
And that's these photographs here in the book.
Yes.
Yeah, so here you can see Tesla amplifier with extra coil, constructed by engineer Marjanovic, and he used notes from Tesla's explanations very strictly, and he said he was surprised how in detail Tesla left the, you know, the instructions, because usually he did everything in his head. And he reconstructed this amplifier which radiates those waves that are different, that they get stronger with the distance. And you can see also that during the session of Tesla metamorphosis, the identical purple color that present those waves are present in the images of Tesla metamorphosis session. And Dr. Professor Ristovsky, who made those photos, he said that he checked on his institute, on internet, with Dr. Harry Oldfield, and according to him, Tesla metamorphosis is the only modality where we can access those Tesla waves.
Tesla Metamorphosis is the name of the book. You'll heal and evolve. And we have the author with us tonight. It's lovely to have you here, internationally renowned. And I think a little more tonight, after tonight. Anya
Yes, I think
Petrovic.
we're going to have you back a little bit later this year, so that we've got more time to actually spend more time to learn it.
to share it all.
It's not just about healing, even much more important than the healings, because most people, they get attracted because of those, how they call it, amazing healings. But those frequencies actually elevate human consciousness on the level of crown chakra. And in some classes, I have 60, 70 people on that Tesla Metamorphosis 2 seminar. And what is amazing, each of them is capable of making communication with the client on the level of conscious, subconscious, and integrative mind, and they are not clairvoyant, and you know, they were not aware of such abilities before. So I think that yes, people are attracted because our clients report healings from all those illnesses that are named incurable.
And consciousness is changing.
Yeah, even from birth deformities. But that fact that these Tesla waves elevate our consciousness, it's much more important than the healings. So we'll talk about that when I come back.
And I'd just like to say as well, you know, so this is just so lovely that it's come full circle, and that's the magic of having a reading, is sometimes you'll sit with a medium or you'll sit with a psychic and you'll think, gee, I'm not sure if I can understand what's being prophesized here or what's being predicted, but that's the magic of a reading. And then, of course, here we are 9 years later and discovering a new modality.
You know, absolute agreement with you on that. I had a reading about 2 years ago, and I scribbled down notes, and I wrote down this thing, and I wrote business, and under the 3 lines under that, I wrote the name Andreas, and I only just met a person in the business capacity, tell me about it in olive branches and olives for me to understand it, that I found that notebook because it was something that I needed for something else, and I just came across those pages.
And it came through at just the right time.
Well, this time, exactly right.
And this is why I say to all my clients, you know, timing is fluid. You know, we often think of timing as being very linear, you know, January, February, March, etc. But time is really cyclic, you know. So time is very fluid, and so what we deem as our time may be very different to Spirit's time. In the spirit world, there is no time. And so this is why we can only give general guidelines. But what's so remarkable for Anya and your story that you've just shared is that, of course, it all tied in and it made sense. So that's just fantastic.
Tesla Metamorphosis, the name of the book. Heal and Evolve. Anya Petrovic, thank you very much for coming in tonight.
See you again soon.
Just allow me to invite everybody, because on Friday night at 7 p.m. I'll have a free talk about, so if you want to find out
And
more,
we also have all those details, guys, on the Facebook page. Please go to our Facebook page and get the details and go along and have a solid education of great wealth, because Nikola Tesla was a great man. Thank you so much. You've got some fabulous events coming up yourself too now, haven't you, Mitchell? You're going to Tamworth, one of my favourite places, in September, and Campbelltown in October.
Yes,
Tell me about
it. Well, Tamworth, 22nd of September and 23rd. So on the 22nd, I'm doing an evening event, a Messages from the Spirit World event in Tamworth. So people are welcome to come along and to be there, because what we do in that time is we share messages, or I share messages, if you will, from the spirit world. And I'm also going to be playing crystal singing bowls and taking people through a meditation, which are a special kind kind of singing bowl. And then, of course, on the second day, on the Saturday in Tamworth, I'll be teaching a one-day psychic development workshop. And it's the only workshop that I'm teaching this year, remaining with the year left anyhow. And that's where I teach you how to harness your intuition, how to connect more to your own inner voice, how to use a pendulum. I talk about chakras and auras and energy. And I really help people learn to connect in with their own psychic abilities, because it's my belief that everybody is psychic. So that's the workshop. And I can teach you how to learn to hear that still small voice of your soul
within
speaking
yourself,
to you.
which
Absolutely.
you talk about at length and so well described in your books.
Exactly. And I find it's an invaluable guide. You know, intuition is your best guide, and it's just learning how to hear your voice of intuition versus the voice of reason, you know, because people hear different voices. That, you know, I always say to people, your intuition often lives here in your stomach, in your solar plexus, in your heart, or in your throat and in the third eye. But the issue is with that, so too does other voices such as fear or reason or worry or uncertainty. So it's learning to distinguish how to hear that voice and be absolutely certain that you're hearing the voice of yourself. And then I've got the Campbelltown show coming up as well in Sydney, which is really exciting. So, and another audience event.
And more exciting news coming up, which we're going to announce a little bit later on into the show. You've got a very special announcement.
Super exciting.
At AAY.
Now, they're going to be limited numbers, guys, in your workshops, because there's only so big a room.
I limit it to 30 people in a workshop because
oh my goodness,
the reason why is because I like to be able to have that one-on-one time and to ensure that I'm able to give you the time and dedication that you need to help you on your spiritual journey with developing your intuition.
Okay, and so guys, act on that very, very quickly, because in a nanosecond those seats will be gone, and it's that's a life experience that will change your life. Having that ability to be with Mitchell in person and learn skills that you already have that you may not know about and can enhance. Guys, I just want to say before we move on tonight, we've had an overwhelming response from our viewers at home, hoping for readings, looking for answers, and with Mitchell coming on tonight. And it's just broke our lines down. We've had thousands of people contact us, and we just want to say a big thank you to you guys for that. We know that, you know, Mitchell's only one person with one mouth and two arms and two legs, and there's only so much we can do. But, you know, the gratitude is there from all of us, including Mitchell. He was telling me that before. Thank you so much for reaching out. It means a great deal to us. It helps us keep it here every week, and it keeps Mitchell going with his work.
I sat down with Viv and I said to Viv, we need to acknowledge everybody that's written in, because I understand that when you write in a question, for somebody to write in a question, it's a very important question to the person that's asked that question.
Oh, that's so true.
And it really is my wish that I could answer everybody's question and be all things to all people, but I've had to learn that it's just not possible. But I also would like to express how grateful I am to every single person that has written into the show, that has written in with a question. And I also hope that through hearing my answers and the insights and the readings that come through tonight, for whoever is lucky enough to receive those readings, that perhaps those that don't have their question answered might be able to take some inspiration or some healing away with them as well.
And that is often the case, I've found, haven't you? Since we've been on this show, that for the people that do get the readings, often people will write in and they'll join on and they'll say, that happened to me. I experienced that's helped me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So you're right. Okay, well, we might as well get started with one of our first lucky viewer that we're going to do a reading for. So this is Joe Ettles. And Joe's date of birth is the 15th of the 3rd, 1963. My beautiful dad passed away in November last year. Is he happy? I have felt him visit me since he passed, and it's often as I'm waking up. I've even felt him touch my head after I hit it in my brother's boat whilst I was cleaning it. Or if I'm imagining it, please let me know, because I miss him so much. Lots of love and blessings to you, beautiful man.
Well, thank you so very much, Joe, for writing in your question. And I'd just like to start by saying that as Viv was reading your question, I am very aware of a man here with me in the spirit world who I do feel is your father. And I need to say to you that I understand that grief can do all sorts of things to people, and we all grieve in different ways, but I don't feel that it's grief playing a trick on your mind. In this instance, I do feel that you are sensing and you are feeling your father's presence. You're feeling his soul. He is visiting with you. And so when you mentioned in your question that you hit your head on a boat, you know, but then you felt your father with with you, I feel that's just him caring for you and letting you know that he absolutely is there. And I feel very strongly, Joe, that I need to let you know that your dad is showing me here that you need to actually pay attention to your dreams, because I feel that there can be information that will come to you through dreams, but I actually feel your father will visit you through dreams. So I would encourage you to pay attention with your dreams. I also, Joe, just want to say to you that I feel very drawn here to pick a few oracle cards for you as well. So I'm just shuffling these cards here, Joe, as I'm focusing on you, and I'm focusing that energy into these cards. And I've just heard stop, so I'm going to stop shuffling, and I'm going to pick out 3 cards for you, and I'm just going to sense with my hands. This is how I like to choose cards. So, okay, card 1. So, relation. This card definitely wants to jump out. Manifestation and balance. So, Joe, the cards here that have just been drawn here is the butterfly of relationships, the butterfly of manifestation, and the butterfly of balance. And these cards here are indicating to me that I feel that there's a lot of new beginnings and new energy also beginning to start up in your relationship. So, I want you to think about, you know, friends, family, even potential partners that you may be with. It's all about relationships for you, and I feel there's a lot of new beginnings that are beginning to manifest for you, if you will. But I also feel this is an exciting time for you because it's a time where you're coming back into balance, okay? And your dad's just saying to me here, it's like you tend to be all things to all people, and you need to start to really make sure that you're looking after you, that you're making sure that you're feeling fulfilled before you go out helping everybody else. You've got to make sure that you've tended to yourself first as well. I just want to let you know also that I just saw the symbol of birds, and I saw a bird and I saw a feather, and I feel that the birds and feathers are signs that I feel your father will send to you to let you know that he's around, to let you know that he's there, that he's watching over you. Please don't feel bad. I just heard him say about not being able to say goodbye in the way that you wanted to, because he heard you and he's there with you often. He's sending his love. So thank you very much for your question, Joe.
Now, we have Michelle Wilson who's rung in, and Michelle is born on the 8th of February, 1959. Okay. Hi, Mitchell. I lost my son 6 years ago. He was my only child. Now I'm alone and want to go to be with him, but I can't because my mum is still alive. My question is, in the first few years, I was getting signs from my son letting me know that he was around me, but now I'm not getting anything at all and haven't had for some time. Has he found peace that he was craving so much for? And is he free of all pain? Can you tell him to give me a message so I can be at peace? Thank you so much.
That's a beautiful question. And did you say the name Michelle?
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle. That's a really lovely, heartfelt question. And can I just say first and foremost, and I write about this in my books, I don't believe that there is, well, all loss is great and all loss is horrible for us when we're left in the wake of a loved one's passing, but the loss of a child is something else altogether. So my heart goes out to you and my healing goes out to you as well. I want you to know that it's my belief that whenever we lose a child, regardless of the age, I really believe that an angel is born, and I feel that for whatever reason, you know, your son has gone home to heaven early, but he is an angel, and for you, watching over you and guiding you. I want you just to know a few things here, Joe. The first is from your question, I just get the sense here, what I'm picking up and what I'm feeling is that he passed in very tragic circumstances, and I want you to know that he's not in any pain now, and he certainly has found peace. Because just as I'm talking to you, and as I heard Steve reading out your question, I just saw a flash of a face and I saw a beautiful smile, and I thought, you know, he's very happy where he is in the spirit world, but he's also saying to me too that you're needed here. It's not your time, and you mustn't go before your natural time, because you've got a lot of wonderful things to look forward to, and he's just showing to me here that you mustn't go before your natural time, but he's watching over you because he loves you very much. So I want you firstly to know that. Now, the signs that you mentioned, you're receiving signs and now you're not receiving signs, this sometimes can happen. You'll find that when we lose a loved one, soon afterwards we often receive this, some of us will receive a tirade of signs. You'll think, oh, there's a sign and there's another sign and there's another sign. Then all of a sudden the signs seem to become less and less, or few and few, and we start to think, well, has my loved one left? But it's not that he's left, it's just that once we've received our validation, they don't always need to keep sending us signs constantly to remind us. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you know that he's there in your heart and you know that he's watching over you. But also too, sometimes there can be other factors too, where we can often sometimes miss a sign or we don't realise. And so we often, I know people who, for instance, will say, you know, whenever I see a macaw bird or something, you know, I know that that's my father. But the problem is you may have also been sent rainbows and a shooting star in the sky, but not notice that because you're so focused on the bird as the sign. So sometimes we need to broaden our horizons. But I will just say to you, I do feel that your beautiful boy is around you. I do feel that he's there. I feel that he has found happiness in the spirit world. He's watching over you. He's watching over your mum. You're just being told you must let things be as they are, and you mustn't go before your natural time. This is very important, John. I know it's very hard. It's easy for me to sit here and say that. I can't begin to imagine what a parent must feel when they lose a child. But I'd really like you to know that he is at peace, and I feel very strongly that he's around you. And I'm just going to draw a card for you as well, Joe, because I just feel guided to do that. Oh, it's just so perfect. I don't know if you all missed that, but I just literally pulled out the card here, Guardian Angel, and it just goes to show he really is your guardian angel, giving you the support, the blessings and the guidance that you're needing at this time in your life. So please just know, Joe, in your heart that he, sorry, not Joe, Michelle, I keep calling you, Michelle?
Michelle, yeah.
Sorry, Michelle, my apologies. I've still got Joe's name in my mind here. I'm so terribly sorry, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle, please forgive me. I do feel very strongly that your boy is your guardian angel, as I said. And look, our loved ones don't become angels, of course, because angels have never incarnated, but they're like angels, and he's your protectorate. Okay, he loves you very much, and he just try that again. Hold on. He just showed me something here, and I just thought I understood what I saw, and then the vision, as quick as it come, had just disappeared. But as I'm looking here in my vision, I don't understand why, Michelle, but he's showing me a gerbera flower. I'm pretty sure it's a gerbera. I'm not always good with flowers because there's so many, but I see it. I think it's not a sunflower, it's a gerbera, a coloured gerbera flower. So I don't know if someone put gerberas by his funeral or if there's a connection to the gerbera flower, but if not, perhaps consider placing one near his photograph. He's saying, I love you, Mum, so he's there with you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Mitchell, and thank you, Michelle, for ringing in. Now.
Yes. We have on the phone, we have Melissa Pattinson. Now, Melissa is joining for a phone reading with
I've been handed a phone.
You've been handed a phone. Now, I'm just going to give you the question quickly.
Sure.
And hello, Melissa.
Hello.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hi, Mitchell. I'm good. How are you?
Really good, thank you.
Now, Melissa, your birthday is the 5th of the 4th, 1963. Great year. Love that year.
Yeah, it's a great year.
Isn't it a great year? Now, my mum, you said your mum passed away on the 29th of June after a horrid fall in her nursing home. I'm sorry to hear that. I sat holding her hand, you said, in hospital for 2 weeks until she passed. It was a very traumatic time, and she had shocking injuries. One of the days before she passed, she opened her eyes, looked at me and said, Carlo will have a lot to talk about this week. Carlo is your dad who passed in 1994. You would like to know if your mum is okay, first and foremost, and if she's back with her dad. I'm very sorry to hear that you do cry most of the time, and you would like to find comfort in knowing that your mum's okay. Thank you so much, Melissa, for your question.
Thank you.
Well, Melissa, there's so much there in that question of yours, and can I just begin by saying, firstly, I need to just say to you that as I've heard your voice and as I heard you say hello to me just now on the phone and as Viv was reading your question, I actually saw a vision of your beautiful mother in the spirit world stepping forward. And I just need to say to you here, Viv, in your question, you've mentioned, Viv read out that your mum had a fall, but your mum's talking, she says that she fell, but when Viv said that, she said to me that she fell backward, not forward, and she's talking about hitting the back of her head, not the front of her head. I have to be very specific with you here, Melissa, because she's talking about that. Now, I don't want to upset you unnecessarily, but can you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's the back of her head. She says she fell back, and I don't even know if it's a concrete pavement or if it's a concrete path, because I just know that the floor is hard and it's concrete, she's saying to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Was it concrete or was it I don't think it's tiles. I've got a feeling here she's showing me concrete. Is that right?
It's not concrete. It's like, I don't know what sort of flooring it was. It's not tiles, but it is a hard floor.
It's very hard because she just shows that to me. And then in the question you mentioned your father Carlo, but as I heard the name Carlo, I also heard another name, and I heard your mum say she's asking here now, even with me here, she's saying, I need to ask you about Carla. Is that right? The name Carla? Have I got that name right?
Yeah, Carla's my daughter.
Ah, so it's your daughter that she's talking about. So, and you've got a son as well?
Yes.
Only the 2 children, she's saying?
Yes.
Yeah, she kisses 2 fingers. She's saying the 2 children. She tells me she's watching over your 2 children, your mum's saying to me here. She says, I watch over them, you know, Mitchell. I'm like their angel. She's just, she's having a joke. She's been listening in the whole show, your mum. She's just saying to me here, I'm like their angel. So she's watching over them. But in particular, your husband's name's Carlo, but yes, I hear the name Carla. And so that's your daughter's name. Okay, so just know that your mum's talking about your daughter. She's watching over her. I feel that your mum has reunited with your father. They're together in the spirit world. I'm very certain of that. But I also just want to, because they've reconciled differences and things, you see. But your mum's just showing me her glasses now, and I don't know if she was laid to rest with reading glasses or if she used to be fanatic about losing her glasses, because she just showed me her glasses, okay? So...
I've got them, yeah. When she fell, they sort of broke, so I've got them.
You've held on to them. Well, she tells me she doesn't need them on the other side anyway, so she's not worried about that. But she shows me the glasses. Your mum says she wasn't a heavy-set lady. She was quite slender-built, actually, your mum. That's what she's showing me here. She says that she says she was quite slender-built, and try me again. She's talking about her birthday, but I'm wondering if it's because she just passed before her birthday. But she's showing me here. I want to go, well, I don't know if I want to go 90, 91, 91, 92, 90, 91, 92. Okay, I've got 3 numbers here, 90, 91 and 92, and I'm somewhere there, and I feel she's referring to age. I don't know if it was, if it's your mum, that if she's talking about herself or what she means, but who was 90? Oh, I want to say actually 92, you know, the more that I'm listening to her talk to me, the more that I'm tuning into the spirit world. I feel like 91, 92. Who was it that passed in your family 91, 92? It's not the year, but as in the age. They were either 91 or they were 92. They're in their 90s, not their 80s, not their 70s, not their 90s, I'm being told. Who was that?
I'm not sure, but she was 94.
Oh, it's your mum. So it's okay. Your mum's passed in her 90s. It would make sense. Because I just know that she was quite elderly, but your mum was in very good spirits. But she tells me, oh, is that true? Your mum just said to me here that she had a dementia, or her mind wasn't there, she's saying to me, Mitchell. She says, some days my physical mind wasn't there, but she says, even though I had the dementia, she's saying to me, I still remember my family, and I remembered my family even when I was here on the earth.
She did.
She never forgot you, she's saying. She never forgot you. Even though she had dementia, she says, you're the one, your face was so familiar to her. And she's just saying, she loves you very much, your mum. She's just saying, can you tell my daughter how much I love her, and that the butterflies I send are actually a sign for her, and she's wiping your tears, your mum. So I want you to know very strongly that she's there, that she's around you. And what's this business about your daughter changing direction with her work? See, as I gave you the name Carla, and you said, that's my daughter, your mum said, you know, she's a very caring soul. She, and I don't know if with work, if she's worked around care-based work or nursing, but there is certainly an element with your daughter, your mum's telling me here, where she's very giving to other people, and it's like she nurtures people. Does this make sense to you? What does your daughter do?
It does. She's in her final year of nursing.
She's learning nursing. That's what it is. So she's not changing direction, so I've misunderstood. But what she is doing is she's going to that next step on her journey. Well, your mum's telling me that she supports her and she'll do very well. She's on the right path, and don't you worry about your son. He's got a wonderful future ahead of him as well. And I just want to leave your mum's love with you, and I really hope that this has absolutely helped you in some way and you've enjoyed this reading. And thank you so very much.
It has. Thank you so much, Mitchell. That's great. It's a great comfort.
You're so very welcome. All the very best.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. Oh. Okay, so that's... I'm so unprofessional handing phones back into...
I do it all.
I'm sorry, everybody. What a beautiful message.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I was just listening to that. If I may say so, because I feel slightly even humbled.
Yeah.
You're wonderful,
Unbelievable.
Mitchell.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful...
The spirit world is wonderful.
Well, yes, but only a few are chosen, and only a few are genuine, and it's... I take my hat off to you. You really are wonderful.
Thank you very
really
much.
sitting here, and I'm just humbled as well. In that, you know...
I'm very humble. Can I tell you, I am so humbled.
Yes,
and every day... No, I am. And every day, and I think to myself, what a wonderful... You know, I often used to get asked earlier on in my journey, do you feel that having a gift and talking to the spirit world is a curse? Never. Never. Because it's not a curse, it's a gift. I'm not saying that I'm the only one with the gift, not at all. What I'm saying is it's a gift in the sense that if you're able to help people, if you're able to offer comfort and reassurance, but not even just reassurance, proof that there is life after death, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to share. And it's my life, it's my passion. You know, this is what I do every day. And when people say, well, I don't believe in the spirit world or I don't believe in that, that's fine. Everyone has their own belief, but you're knocking who I am as a person, because I genuinely know for sure that there is life after death.
When did you discover you wanted to take this path, or was that a choice, or did it just evolve?
It really, to be honest with you, it just evolved.
Yes.
I mean, I was seeing the spirit world, I can remember from when I was 3 years old. And I was very lucky to come from a psychic family, and when I was 6, I learned to read tea leaves and then tarot cards at 12. And it sort of evolved from there, but I've always been very aware of the spirit world. And, you know, I have to tell you, I actually count the spirit world amongst some of my closest friends. In fact, I spend more time talking to those in the spirit world than I do to the living, which can be a worry at times for those here on the earth. They go,
no,
you don't ever
totally
talk.
Relate
but
to
you
that.
know, I count them amongst my closest friends, and I've got some beautiful people and souls in the spirit world that come to me for all different reasons.
It's even more sort of humbling in a way. I feel slightly close to you in a very special sense, because Mitchell shared with me one day that he used to listen to me on radio, and I was very, very surprised when you told me that. Yeah, so which makes I'm doing well for 84. But,
I want to know what cream you're using if you're 84. I'll get me some of that.
Tell us a little bit about your book, Sensing Spirit,
Yes.
Mitchell Coombes. We've got them here on our desk.
Well, I tell you, Sensing Spirit is my very first book that I had written, and actually that book really does. It talks about my journey into the psychic world and how I've come to learn to be the medium that I am today. It shares with readers, you know, the remarkable stories and experiences like we've just experienced now with the reading. I mean, this is the work that I do every day, if you want to call it work, day in, day out. You know, I'm talking to the spirit world, and if you're ever a fly on the wall in my reading room, what you've just experienced is a very short version of an hour, you know, and I give a lot in that time. And so I share remarkable stories with my clients, with people that I've come to meet, that I've, you know, that have shared with me their stories of loved ones sending them signs. So if you've ever lost a loved one and you're wondering, well, what are the signs that my loved one is sending to me? Or how can I tell if it's really them? Or was it just a dream? Or what can I do to become more connected through other people's stories and experiences? This book is your entry into that.
Another interesting point too, and I see this with a lot of people, relatives that are at war with each other. Suddenly someone passes over and they're incredibly remorseful for what has happened previously in the real world, and they wish to convey a great sense of love and unconditional love and a sense of regret and please saying sorry. Do you hear this a lot?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, and I always say, don't put off saying tomorrow what you could say today. And tell your, you know, always tell your loved ones and tell, you know, that you love them, that you care about them, that you're there for them. I cannot tell you, you know, the amount of time I hear people come through from the spirit world saying, if only I had told my daughter that I loved her more. If only I told my son I was proud of him.
My goodness, I've just realised something you said. I always think of it in terms of what you were saying, Steve, people still here that have the regrets. I never thought of it in terms of the ones that had passed over potentially wanting to get that message back.
So yes, absolutely. That's why I say we have regrets, but then so do they.
You also hear a lot of people say, "I hope they're okay." One would wonder why they would say that. Is it all ambience and angels and stars on the other side?
I think that one says that because of our different philosophies and beliefs. Yeah. You know, for instance, I had a mother that came to me whose son, he had crossed himself over. He had taken his life, and it was her belief and understanding that he was in some dark void because it's what she was taught to believe and what she always thought must be the truth because it's what her teachings had told her. And so she's wondering, well, is he okay? I hope he's okay. Of course he's okay. You know, no one is ever stuck in that way. I have to tell you, everyone that passes in a traumatic way is nursed back into the spirit world with TLC. But I feel it's got a lot to do with our thoughts and our philosophies and beliefs. And when people say, I hope they're okay, yes, they are okay. But I think sometimes what people might also be wondering too is I don't just hope that they're okay, but I hope that they're okay with what I did for the funeral, or I hope they're okay with what I've been doing with my life now, or the way I handled such and such. And I feel there's often more to that question than just, I hope they're okay.
If someone's about to leave their body and pass over to the other side, generally, what can we see in that person who's about to pass over? Is there a vacuous state? Or?
No, it varies from soul to soul, person to person. And I say person to person, but really it varies from soul to soul. It all depends on the circumstances around the passing. I've actually had, and I say the privilege of sitting with a loved one that has passed at that time of their passing, and literally seen their chakras, which are energy centres in the body, opening up in such a way, and seeing a force or a vapour leaving their body, which is the essence, which is the soul. And but it varies from person to person.
You know, the Germans, and we'll talk about another time, are doing a lot of research around that vapour
fantastic.
at the moment. And they're coming up with some really good scientific evidence, some empirical evidence, which excites me.
I really feel with all the discoveries that we've been having lately in the spiritual fields, in holistic wellness and so on, it's not a case of, does it work? Is it real? It's a case of how does it work? How can we use this?
And that's what
the new question.
Me.
Yeah.
And it's like that information is coming out.
It's
being delivered, and it's so wonderful. It's just verification. Not that we need it, like you say, it's real. Yeah. But still. Well, this is really our topic of discussion tonight. We were, we've really just kind of moded on into it, haven't we? Because it's talking about...
Listening to spirit.
Listening to spirit, but signs from heaven. And I know we just touched on this before, but I was on a plane just a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to some music. I was watching some TV, and suddenly the radio came on. You know, when you're trying to go from station to station, how did the music come on? It was a particular song from Tina Arena, and it was, I think...
Chains?
No, Now I Can Dance.
Oh, I like that song.
And anyway, it was from a very, very close friend of mine died back in the year that the song was first sung, and that song was very prevalent to me about that person being okay, because they were a dancer and they were saying, now I can dance, because they couldn't before they passed. And then when I got it straight away, I hadn't heard it for all those years, and at that precise moment I was thinking about my mum. I had tears in my eyes about my mum, and my mum used to be a dancer, and it was the exact same message, and I had not heard that song in 15 years.
And now she can dance in heaven, and that's exactly what she's doing, because you see, that's her idea of happiness.
The sign.
Is exactly, and that's why there's that sign. I wonder if your mum, actually, if you've ever told your mum that story before she had passed, if she knew about that sign, or if she knew about that song or the significance. But even so, regardless...
I actually did.
Yeah, because I say to you, it's almost as though, she's probably sent that to you because she knows it's a clear way that you will unmistakably go, I know that this is my beautiful mum now, sending me a hello from heaven.
Wow.
And the thing about signs is quite often people will say, well, I'm not receiving a sign. But the truth is we receive signs every day, not just from the spirit world, but also from the universe. I like to say, if you're someone that would like to invite signs and guidance into your life, begin the affirmation by saying, I am a guidable person. I am very guidable. I am open, I am guidable, I am ready to be guided. And say to spirit and to the universe, move me into the right direction this day. Please move me to meet the right people, or be in the right place, or say the right words. Move me, work through me, and follow everything that's guidance. I'll give you a quick story on guidance and intuition. I was driving home. We're going back now. A couple of months ago, I was driving home. I had just finished doing another television thing that I do on Channel 7, and I was on my way home. And to make a very long story short, I had said to my friend 2 days ago earlier, every time I receive a piece of guided information, I follow it. It doesn't matter how ridiculous or how strange it sounds. I follow my guidance because I absolutely trust, and I know it's always led me to where I've needed to be. So I was driving home. I was in an area that I didn't quite, I was driving through an area that I knew in a sense because I do the drive every week. But all of a sudden I heard a voice in my head say, turn left here, turn left. And now this is going way off course from where I needed to be going. And I was like, turn left, and I know not to doubt. So my whole car, turn left, highly dangerous. Turn left, no, it wasn't dangerous, but turn left. And the voice said, keep going, keep going, keep going. Turn right. So now I'm turning right. And now I'm in the middle of the back streets of somewhere where I have no idea where I am, what I'm doing, why I'm going this way, but I'm trusting. And so I turn. And then the voice says, pay attention, slow down, pay attention. So now I'm going extra slow down this street. And in the middle of the street, there was a bag, a garbage bag. This is a terrible story, but there was a garbage bag. And the voice said, go and rescue what's in the bag. And someone had abandoned a dog. And sorry, I get very emotional because And the voice said, you know, and so I took the dog to a rescue shelter, and this beautiful dog's been rehomed now. It's just gorgeous. And these are the things that people don't know about because I don't talk about it publicly. But I am for the first time here. So, but I followed my guidance. Now, had I have not followed my guidance, what could have happened to that little dog? Do you know what I'm saying? So, and the dog was healthy and fine. There was nothing wrong. It was just obviously that someone that didn't know how to handle things, and unfortunately something horrific, you know, thank goodness.
Well,
so I like to think that I was
Mitchell,
an angel that day, an earth angel.
Indeed.
But my guidance led me to that. And that's how powerful following your guidance can be. You just have to trust it in that moment and go with it. And guidance will always be supportive. It will never be put your head in the oven, do something silly.
Well,
guidance is always positive when it's real guidance.
You can say things.
It will help you.
Later that because it happened to me on the weekend where I had an instance and I was dealing with a person in customer service who was really quite rude. And I found that I was mimicking the person who was reacting to me. So there was a action, there was a reaction as against the action. And whilst we're on about customer service, the customer is not always right. Would you agree with me? If you're in customer service, you have to agree with me there, Viv.
I agree with you. I agree with Steve.
I'm neutral here. Don't create a war with me.
I find in customer service, there is this incredible age of entitlement, and the airlines will, anyone who works at the airlines will see it, they've paid for an economy ticket and they won't be demanding, I've seen it, you're in queues and they're holding up all the people.
It's very hard to get a second cup of tea if you're in economy.
They're demanding to get a business class seat.
Just remember, it's what you pull into your sphere and what you attract. So I always just say I'm surrounded by people that support me, that work with me, that are friendly to me, and I have great experiences. You know, you set your affirmations now, Steve. That's the...
You know, I just have to say, this is freaking me out. Today, I was talking to a friend of mine, Arlene, who just rescued a kitten, and she sent me the photo of the kitten. She's like, this is like my new child. And she told me how she rescued it. She found it on the side of the road. And I told her 20 years ago, I was driving out Macquarie Fields Way, and it was a 6-lane highway, whatever. The car in front of me threw a bag out of the window and it landed on the medium strip, and I was about 5-6 cars behind, and as I drove past, I saw the bag move. And I just went, there was cars everywhere, and I just went, you know, I was really young at the time, so I wasn't thinking about danger or anything. I just pulled the car over, ran across the road, picked it up, and there were 3 kittens in that bag.
Wow, so you've had this, and that's awful.
I was telling my friend about that 2 hours before we came on this show.
And you know what's really interesting, and see what I mean, and you know what's really interesting, and what I found really shocking, mind you, was I was told, as I said, how does this happen, you know, like, how? And I was told, you don't understand, but this happens more than what you actually realise. It happens often, and you just never hear it, and I was just horrified, because everything is energy, every soul is special. And it's just awful. But yeah, so that was the only example I could think of the top of my mind. But it was a terrible example. It's not a heroic thing at all. It's an awful example, but it shows you that when you listen to your guidance, how it only, you know, my grandmother used to always say, you know, a miracle only takes a moment, and you can be that moment that creates a miracle. Yeah? You like that? So a miracle only takes a moment, and you can be that moment that creates a miracle.
You know what?
We need to learn to become angels to our angels.
I am a guidable person, and please help me move forward. But since that day 20 years ago, every time I drive past a bag that's on the road, I used to stop all the time. I've got a bit lax in age, but I'll sort of have a sideways glance just to make sure it's not from that experience.
Sure.
Wow.
Yes, it's,
that's great.
We pray that and hope that they're all good things, but especially, and having dealt for years with elderly people, and especially in some cases geriatrics, and I hate that term, but it refers to those who are not equipped to handle life normally. And we were talking a little bit earlier about one of our friends whose mother had fallen because our elderly friends are so vulnerable. And in a moment, it happened to me 2 weeks ago. I badly sprained my ankle, and I hadn't planned to do that. It just particularly happened at that moment, and you just realise at that moment your life can change. So I mean, we do hope and we pray that things happen always for a good thing. But see how that bad instance, luckily I just got a sprained ankle out of it. It could have been much worse. But there's other friends of mine, I won't mention who they are, but I mean, we all see of people who've had major accidents. One man I can think of who had a very severe fall and now is quadriplegic. So how his life's changed, and he's had to negotiate life again, but and he does, but he's this amazing spirit. He's able to smile.
Look, I always believe in creating each day what we call a healing minute. And I've got a friend in the United States, her name's Rosa Marie Altea, and she talks about, she's a very famous medium, and she talks about the healing minute. And you can join anywhere around the world at 9 a.m, no matter where you are, which country you're in. And for 1 minute, 9 a.m, once a week or each day, send healing to the world. Just say, I'm sending healing and light to wherever it's needed to help make the world a better place. And, you know, be the change you want to see in the world is that famous saying, right? And so it comes back to us starting to, you know, be more conscious.
Can you just say that again? I love that. That's very profound. Just say that slowly again.
There's so many, I'm writing them all down.
Well, there's a famous saying, and I don't know I can't remember the quote of who it was. It might have even been Gandhi. I can't be sure, so don't quote me. I could be wrong, but the quote is, it's not my quote, it's be the change you want to see in the world. And I think it comes back to us, that's my little bit, where we need to learn to become an angel to our angels. Let's start being, you know, let's be kinder to each other.
Well, how about this? So why not become what you want to attract?
Absolutely.
So that makes sense as well.
Yes, absolutely.
We have over 5,000 friends who are with us at the moment. The 5,000 friends who are tuned into our program. So thank you very much.
Marge just told me that Gandhi did say that.
It was Gandhi.
It was Gandhi. So
lovely
be the change you would want to see in the world. And it seems so simple, and yet it can be so complicated for us to all stop in the middle of the day and just do something like kindness. Simple acts of kindness. Let's move on to some of your fantastic products in our store. Sure. We were talking earlier today. Now, the Oracle cards are a must. They're straightforward, they're simple, but they give you a lot of hidden meanings.
And they're for everybody.
And I love using them.
You know, you don't have to be skilled or feel skilled in the psychic fields to be able to utilise and benefit from these cards. I've written a beautiful guidebook that accompanies them. So you can simply shuffle the cards, draw a card each day and say, you know, the message I need to know today is... Draw a card, read the message in the guidebook, and there's crystals with the card. So each card corresponds to a crystal, to certain colours, to certain keywords, and has an overall meaning. So it's bringing all systems together to be able to give you guidance in such a simplistic way that hopefully is profound and helps.
Well, since I've been doing the show, a lot of my friends say, I wish I could just have some cards that I don't need to go and do a course, or I can read and I can understand. Yes. But they're also quite complex in the way that you can read them together. So they're for people that are advanced as well as
working as psychics, exactly.
Now, yes.
Oh, I just want to go on my last thing. My favourite is your incense sticks.
Thank you very much.
I absolutely love these.
I've only just received another shipment back in stock, and at the moment it's out of stock on my website, so it's good that you've got them in stock, because I've specially created this incense, and with dear friends of mine that are one of the largest incense developers in the country, and what I can tell you about the incense is I really believe in the affirmation of when I light an incense stick, I always have a prayer and intention whenever I light incense, because it's my understanding that the smoke of the incense carries your prayers or your intentions out into the universe and beyond. So I have this rule for myself, I guess you could say, and that is I never like to light a candle or incense without having some kind of a prayer, intention or affirmation, because let me tell you, when you use fire to light something such as incense or a candle, the power behind it is extraordinary.
Well, don't you go and light the candles at St Mary's Cathedral when you go up in prayer and you light a candle?
Exactly. So and you know what I love about candles and incense, as I said, the smoke of the incense carries your prayers and intentions, and candlelight, you know, I really like to have the visualization that candlelight expands and it takes my intention further and further and further afield.
And look, we've got one here. We've opened up a pack. Just have a smell of that.
This fills my home in the most... It has the most incredible aroma. You know how a lot of incense...
Like
oh, you do too, and it actually quite suits to this.
But you see, there's sandalwood and frankincense and frangipani.
Yes. What's it made of, though?
It's a gum. It's a resin base.
Oh, thank God for that.
So
I've heard rumours that they were cow dung.
Oh, no!
And
well, not my incense.
I'm glad we've clarified that.
And it's all natural. It's all natural, and
it's
done in a sustainable way, in a way that's good for nature.
If you live in the Gippsland area or the Wimmera, you wouldn't have far to walk to get a sample,
well,
would you?
I certainly won't be getting any incense from you and your house,
no,
Steve.
Well, it wouldn't be.
We'll have to wave some incense over just to cleanse your aura.
You need all the packets on the table to counterbalance.
Yeah, cleansing your aura. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, well, thanks for being on the show tonight. I think yes. Right. No, we've just got the details there. Oh, there it is on the screen. Thank you very much.
www.allaboutyous.com. Go to our website. All the products are on the website. Please, as you know, we are the sole providers just at the moment of this fabulous incense sticks, and Mitchell signed all the books, so you'll get personally signed books if you go on our website. Just that last thing about that, I've used a lot of incense sticks over the years, and that is by far the nicest.
Yeah, it was
Thank you so
loveliest.
very much. Thank you.
It is. It's really quite unique.
Serene.
It's different to any other one I've ever smelt, but it just fills the room and it lasts for
Thank you
ages.
very much.
In fact, Kitty opened up a pack and she's having a religious experience. So her arms are all floating around. So thank you.
She's gone to a higher dimension.
Marg's on the floor. So now we've got.
Who's going to look after our? Oh, that's all right. We've got Matthew here tonight on camera 5. We're fine. No, come on,
budget.
Kitty, get off the floor. Straight over to another reading.
Okay.
Mitchell, we've got a few more.
Sure.
Okay, we've got Melody Poole. Now, Melody's date of birth is the 6th of June, 1970. Hello, Mitchell. For this past several months, I've been seeing multiple sequence numbers most days, i.e. on clocks, and I'm wondering if these are messages for me. Speaking of messages, my late uncle's birthday is the 14th of August, and he was my father figure to me. Birthday today.
Oh, wow.
14th of August.
Isn't that fantastic?
There you go.
Well, firstly, hello, Melody, and thank you very much for sending in your question to us here on the show. Melody, I do want to just start by saying to you, I actually feel that those number sequences are not just a sign from a guardian angel, but I actually feel that they are a sign. You mentioned that it was your uncle's birthday, and I really feel that today, and I feel that actually the numbers you're seeing are a sign from him. Now, you haven't specified in your question just here what numbers you've been seeing, if you've been seeing 1111 or 222 or 444 or 333 or 999. Quite often people will often speak of seeing numbers in triple sequences or in quadruple, so like 1111 as an example. And each number, of course, and Steve, you'll know a lot about this with your numerology aspect, you know, will have a different meaning and will have a different vibration. But what I would encourage you to do is there's a great book by Doreen Virtue, Angel Numbers, and do look that up because there are different meanings for each of the numbers that may be showing for you. I do feel that they are signs. I feel that they are signs from spirit. But can I also just say to you too, Melody, I have a very strong feeling that they are signs. When you see those number sequences, I know different numbers hold different meanings, but I actually feel as a broad perspective, as a broad umbrella term here, they actually are signs to point for you that you are on the right path and that you need to just trust and keep going forward because you're being supported and watched over. And I feel it's your beautiful uncle, actually, who's sending those signs to you. So I'm going to draw you a card, Melody, here as well. Okay, so let's just have a look here. Oh, this card's come up a few times now. Relationships, prosperity. That's about your relationship to your money and nurturing. I just want to say to you here, it's very important that you begin to also nurture yourself, that you begin to look after you. I want to just say to you, there seems to be a prosperity of signs around you, not just in the... So prosperity doesn't have to just be material abundance. It can be a prosperity of signs, a prosperity of health, a prosperity of time. We can be very prosperous in lots of different things. And I want to say to you here, Melody, I have a very strong feeling you are becoming quite prosperous in your life across all aspects. And these number sequences that you're seeing are validation and signs pointing you forward. So do trust and keep going in the path that you're on each time you see one. And think about looking up what the specific numbers perhaps may also be telling you. Thank you very much for your question tonight.
Thank you very much, Melody, for ringing in on our show and to all of our friends. And
for writing in.
Yes, lovely to have you with us. Marie Marshall has rung in, and she's another lovely Aries, 14th of the 4th, 1978. Marie writes, for the last few years, I have felt like there was a negative entity or energy that's latched onto me. In that time, I've had a lot of bad luck and have had a lot of hardship. I recently have been attracted and drawn to meditation and having vivid dreams of my deceased mother and feel like someone is trying to help me, perhaps a guardian angel, but don't know how to make contact or start to open myself up to receive the messages without attracting and protecting myself from negative messages.
So the first things first is just as you were reading that question, my eyes just moved and I thought to myself, you know, I just literally saw an energy. You need to put protection first and foremost around yourself. Sorry, the name was Melanie. Marie. Sorry, Marie. You need to firstly start by putting protection around yourself. So I'd like you to begin to imagine you have a golden light around you. So you imagine a bubble of golden light around you. If you can try using lavender essential oil or sandalwood essential oil, and you can place a drop of lavender essential oil or the sandalwood into your palm and place a dab on your third eye, the back of your neck, down below your waist on your lower back, okay? The soles of your feet. This creates an aura of protection. Even visualizing or pretending you've got in your mind's eye mirrors all around you with the reflective side facing outward, so as you're not absorbing energy. So if there's negativity, it's deflected away and back to source, so therefore you're not taking the energies on. Because what I'm picking up here is you're extremely psychic and quite susceptible. You'll be very sensitive to energy, okay? So because you're very sensitive, will make you feel quite vulnerable at times. So you need to protect yourself. This is why you may find it difficult in large crowds, because you're feeling the energies of everybody there. So it's called protecting yourself, putting up your psychic shields, your psychic barriers. And this is something I feel that you need to start to do as a daily practice, because and trust me when I say, as you begin to do this, you will absolutely, Marie, feel a complete difference. You will notice a difference almost instantaneously. So begin to train yourself to say, right, I'm feeling something that's making me feel unsettled here. I can feel an energy. I'm going to put up my protection. But always, even in the morning before you leave for the day, put your protection up to protect your energy, to protect you. You know, energy is very real, and this is why we can stand in the post office or in the bank or at the supermarket checkout, and someone may stand behind us in our space, and you don't even have to turn, but you can feel that someone is there in your space. I think many of us will identify with that. That's energy. And what's happening is your aura, your personal energy, is mingling and picking up on somebody else's. So this is why protecting yourself, if you're very sensitive, as I feel you are, is very important. And I will say to you, I do feel that more signs for you will begin to show up that will also point the way forward for you in your life from Spirit, now that you begin to protect yourself. I'm just going to draw some cards here for you too, Marie, and I just feel guided, actually feel guided
very
to take
well said,
this
Mitchell,
one. Thank you. Soul Lessons, Retreat, and the blank cards. So whenever the blank card appears in oracle cards for me, and I have a blank card in my deck, it actually symbolises that the universe has bigger plans for you than you currently see for yourself. So it's saying to you there's a clearing taking place in your life, and I feel that the clearing is not just a clearing of obstacles, but a clearing of the energy that you've written about in your question. It's the clearing taking place. So you are beginning to clear. And, you know, even using the affirmation, you know, saying to the universe, please clear my mind, please clear my body, please clear my aura, please clear my soul. You know, when I go to a hotel room, I always say, please clear this bed, please clear this room, and I have the intention that I'm clearing the space. You know, energy flows where your attention goes, and so wherever you place your intention, there is going to be energy. So if you have the intention of, please clear my office desk, or please clear this desk or this chair or what have you, your energy and your intention is powerful enough to start to create a positive shift around yourself. And I feel that that's what you're needing to do, but I do feel that more signs will begin to show up for you. Okay?
Wow.
Well, that was excellent.
Lavender,
lavender and sandalwood.
Yes.
Crown chakra,
On back of the
back
neck,
of the back,
on the soles of the
and
feet.
also frankincense, and the middle of the back at the back.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Any of the pulse points even, you know, to create that
points.
aura and that circuit of
And
protection.
lavender's great for sleeping as well.
It's
If you pop a
beautiful
little
for
bit
that.
on your pillow.
Yes.
And we have another phone reader coming in. It's Sharon Streeter.
Okay.
Hello, Sharon. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hello, yes.
Very
Good
excited to
evening.
have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Very, very, very welcome. Okay, so Sharon, your birthday is the 12th of the 7th, 1962, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, your message is that your dad died on the 1st of the 4th, 1986 in a terrible accident. Sorry to hear. That his truck rolled on him. And your younger sister died on the 30th of the 12th, 2007 to cancer. And more recently, sadly, your mum died in 2016, 27th of the 5th to cancer also.
Yes.
You're saying that you've had weird experiences surrounding all of these deaths, and still have things happening that you believe is linked to your family. You'd love to know if they're all together and that they're all right, and that you're, now that all of your family is gone, that luckily you are married to a wonderful man and have children.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, what an firstly, hello to you, Sharon, and
Hi.
Thank you very much for taking the time to write in with your question. Just as I'm hearing your voice and it's just hearing what you say, answering and so on, that helps me to tune in. I tune in through the voice vibration, and as I'm tuning into you, I just want to say, first of all, just Viv, as you said, children. You mentioned, Sharon, you're very lucky to have children, but I'm hearing the spirit world say that I'm actually just being shown. I feel, firstly, your father. I want to just say to you, I feel that yes, your loved ones are together in the spirit world. I feel that your father and your sister and your mum, they're all together in in the spirit world, but I feel it's your father who's kissing 3 fingers, and he's talking about 3 children. So quite specifically, do you have 3 children?
Yes, I do.
And you've got the 2 boys and the girl?
No, 3 girls.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I get the 2 boys from then. Hold on a second. What's she talking about? Because I've got your mum here talking to me at the same time. I've got them all talking to me here at once. Hold on. You've got the 3, but I thought I saw 2 boys and a girl. Now, I must be getting my wires crossed with something, Sharon, which sometimes happens, so please forgive me. But I will just say, and I don't know where they're going with that, but they're showing me, for some reason, I want to talk about 2 men. Okay, that's the first thing. So I want to talk, which I thought was the 2 boys. But I want to just say to you, I feel that your mum and your dad and your sister are together, and it's actually your sister who's just showing me here pennies from heaven. And I want to just say to you, this is your sign from her. And you mentioned that there's unusual things happening, but I'm being shown coins, or like pennies, you know, like 5-cent pieces, or, you know, 10-cent pieces, small coins, that kind of thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Have you found any pennies or 5-cent pieces at all?
Yes, yes.
I feel they're from your sister, but also I feel that they're from your mum, because your mum's just talking to me here too. I just keep hearing a lady's... Who's Glenda? Or Glena? Glenda. It's a GL name.
One of my mother's very good friends.
Has she passed?
Not that I know of, but it is possible.
I don't understand, because I'm hearing a lady's voice say the name Glenda. That must be your mum. So she's talking about her friend. Okay, that's good. That's a good thing to have here, because I just keep hearing her bring this name up to me. Or it's a G name. It's not a J, it's a G. So yeah, Glenda or Glenna, it's a GL name. So what was your mum's friend's name?
Glenda.
Oh, it is Glenda. Okay.
Yes.
So your mum's talking about her, all right? But your mum's also just saying thank you to you for everything that you did for her, Sharon. You did more for your mum than what you actually realised that you did for her, because she's just saying to me thank you. And Sharon, I need to ask you, was it yourself that gave her permission to let go, to pass away?
Yes, I did, yes.
She's just saying thank you. She's saying, because, you see, her body was no longer anchoring her soul to the physical world, and quite often this is the case. And so when we give permission for a loved one to pass, it makes it their transition sometimes a lot easier for them, because they feel that they have our permission to be able to start their next journey. And that's what your beautiful mum's just showing to me here. I do feel that your sister and your dad's all together. I don't understand if you can place the name Margaret as well, but I have the name Margaret coming up here with this. Do you know Margaret, or the name Margaret?
No, I don't.
That's fine. Look, just have a think about it later on, because sometimes there can be instances where we don't always retain, or we can't always remember and place things.
Actually, yes, it's her sister's middle name, and
Okay.
she passed away recently.
Okay. Who was the smoker?
All of them.
Because, well, can I just tell you something? Your mum's doing it over there, you see, but she's saying, well, it can't affect me here, so what does it matter? Your mum's got a beautiful sense of... Your mum's got a funny sense of humour, I've got to tell you this. Funny sense of humour. Yeah. And she says to me, Sharon, that she knows that you still celebrate her birthday for her.
Yes.
She's just saying, I see you celebrating my birthday for me, and she's saying thank you to you. She sees everything that you've been doing for her. She wants you to know that she's at peace, and I feel that when her time came to leave this physical world, I feel that your father was there, along with your sister. I feel that they are together in the spirit world. I feel that they are happy in the spirit world. I want you to know that. And by the way, I hope the lights in your home aren't continuously blowing, you know, the circuits or the lights keep blowing out, because I feel like you've got this, you seem to have this exorbitant fees of having to always replace light globes in your house.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, well, you know, you better just say to your beautiful mum, all right, I know that you're here, you can stop doing that now. See, I feel what's happening is they're trying to get your attention as a sign to let you know that they're there. And see, spirits are energy, our soul is energy. And so they can influence energy, and what's happening is the electrical circuits in your home are being influenced from them when they're coming to visit. So listen, if you want to save yourself a few dollars, you just say, look, I know that you're here, send me a different sign, and they will. Because I seem to feel like you seem to be going around in... This has happened more than once, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and lately. So I just want you to know, you know, that your mum is definitely there with you. She's saying thank you to you, okay? She's saying thank you to you. And again, and her sister must be touching in then with her, because I feel that with the name Margaret and the middle name, but that's interesting. Sometimes I'll get a first name or a last name. Sometimes it's the middle name. It just depends on what they're able to convey to me. But I want you to know that they love you very much, that they're very much around you. Did you have any questions for them, or any questions that you wanted to ask me?
No, I think it's been lovely, the reading that you've given me.
Thank you so very much. And can I also just say to you too, as we're finishing here with this call, your mum's talking about your home. Now, I need to ask you, what's this business about you looking at, well, I didn't think you were moving, because I thought you were quite happy where you were, but your mum's talking about changes around the house. What's this talk? It's all talk at the moment, she's saying.
Well, no, the only changes that have happened is that my house has turned into an art gallery because all of Mum's paintings are up on the wall.
Oh, that's what it's about.
Believe me, it's like an art gallery now.
Because she's just, well, there's lots of, because yes, they're saying this. Are you still able to live there with all the paint artwork and everything? And that, is there any space for you to live?
Yes, that's what it's like, exactly.
Because your mum's sort of wondering if you need a second space for either yourself or to display the art or something, you see. She's just showing that to me. But you see, your mum's a bit of a, she's such a jokester, your mum, such a jokester. And do you still have, I don't want to say that your mum's an overly religious lady, but do you still have the rosary that used to belong to her? It may have even been passed on to her. The rosary beads. Do you know what she's talking about? Or the painting of the rosary? Something about the rosary beads.
No, I don't, no.
Okay, she's just talking about rosary beads, but that could also be a sign of, like, you asking for strength, you know, because she's there to support you and to help you. She loves you very, very much, Sharon. She's leaving all of her love with you, and so too is your beautiful dad and your sister, whose passing was so tragic because I know in the question it was mentioned that your sister had cancer, is what you've mentioned here. But I want to just say to you, there was no time to prepare for her passing. They're telling me it was very quick. Toward the end, it became a shock for people because I feel like the family felt they still had more time with her, and unfortunately that wasn't to be.
That's correct, yes, it was very quick.
Very much so, yeah, which is unusual with cancer, but in this instance it was quite sudden the way it all happened, and it was a very quick downhill progression for her. But she tells me she's at peace, she's watching over you, and your mum's saying thank you for carrying on her legacy.
Thank you. And don't worry, she sends me plenty of signs all the time.
That doesn't surprise me. She's such a colourful character. It's why I love... Although she's got such a sense of humour, your mum, but I love her. She's such a beautiful lady. Beautiful lady. Thank you so much again for this call, and I hope you enjoyed that reading.
Thank you very much,
You're
Mitchell.
most welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, guys, we've been promoting for a number of weeks a very special announcement exclusive to AAY that Mitchell is going to tell us about tonight. So over to you, Mitchell.
Over to me. Well, I'm really, really excited and thrilled to share with everybody that we are going to be doing a live audience taping here in the studio. It will be limited to only 80 people, so it'll be a quite intimate gathering. If you would like to come along and to be a part of an audience taping, and I'll be giving messages from the spirit world, reading audience members, taking the audience through a meditation. We'll be having a little chat at the start about my work and how I come to discover talking to the spirit world and so on, and my story. So if I really would love to have people there. It's such a wonderful opportunity and experience. And of course, that will later on that will be shown somewhere. I guess that footage later on. So exciting. But I also understand that some of it will be going to America. So if you're very, very, very interested in coming and supporting me, I'd really be very grateful to you.
Intimate evening.
It really is an intimate afternoon.
I'm so excited to be able to be part of it. I can't wait for it. And I just want to say to you guys, because we're you're going to be sharing so much on the evening, we only have so many spaces available, and these are going to go in a nanosecond. So please, I think we've got literally a capacity of about 90 people to come to this evening. So please get on the website, go to it, www.allaboutyouaus.com, follow all the prompts to purchase a ticket, to become part of the live audience, to join all of us, the crew, Marg, Steve and me and Mitchell, and have a fantastic night together. It's a one-off opportunity. We've been so excited about it for months to come. It's so great to be able to finally tell you guys about it tonight. It's an absolute highlight for our show.
Yes, very intimate evening, so keep your clothes on. Mitch, it's been lovely having you here.
On that note,
just give you a lovely warm...
Thank you very much,
so
everybody.
much.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who wrote in, and thank you to everyone watching, and for being so beautiful and supportive. It really is. I'm very grateful, and it's so lovely to be able to share with everybody.
And that show, of course, will be coming up here on September 9, so it'll be imminent.
And messages from the spirit world. So if you want to experience, messages and what I do firsthand, this is a great opportunity.
Gosh. My gosh. So they're going to have the opportunity to ask, plus you're going to share a lot of the things that you do in your workshops, sort of as a, just sort of an outline, a little bit of a brief and an overview. What an amazing
And we're going to open the floor for the audience to be able to ask questions as well, so you'll be able to ask questions, and it's just going to be a wonderful one. I'm very much looking forward to the afternoon, to the event.
Yes, I just wanted to include that there, because it's really also how you started. And I do feel that we're going to have people in that audience that will be just like you, who will want to know how to develop their skills like you did.
Yes.
Because I think you're inspiring a lot of people.
Now, I want to just make a correction. I had said that it was going to be an evening. It's actually Saturday, September 9, between 2 and 4 p.m, right here in the AAY studios. The personal live show with every ticket sold, and Marga's just told me in the couple of minutes we've been talking about it, we've already sold tickets just in the last few minutes. They're already selling.
And each person that comes along, I'm going to surprise with some special gifts as well. As a thank you
that's
for coming.
very lovely. Gift with purchase.
Yes, one show only, guys. Limited tickets. Get in, because we've got a whole lot of different things.
You know, this has been kept secret and so under wraps for so long that the details aren't even on my website yet. But they will be tomorrow.
We've been talking about this since April. Like, there's so many things that we're going to be able to cover in that time. You know, what happens to animals when they die? I'm an animal lover. So many of my friends, they think, well, you know, we hear so much about our friends and family. What about our fur friends, you know, our fur babies? You know, what can you do to become more aware? Questions like that. What do my dreams mean? All these questions are things that you can ask Mitchell in person.
And messages from the spirit world, messages of love, comfort, hope and healing.
Just reminded me of something here. Please pardon me for asking this, because it is from a sort of form of ignorance. Can a soul of a human that's passed over come back as an animal?
Oh, that's such a loaded question.
Or can the soul of an animal come back as a human? Is that possible?
What you're asking really is, you know, can a soul change phylum? That means, can we become animal in the sense of, can we become a pet, or can we become an angel, or can we become... Look, there's all different... I don't have all the answers, of course, on these great mysteries of life, but I have insights. In my experience, generally I have found, and I can't say as a blanket term no, but in my experience I've never come across that. That doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but it's just not part of what I've experienced. I've only ever experienced... In terms of reincarnation, souls coming, you know, if you've lived as a form as in human, coming back as human. If you were in the animal kingdom, well, we were all in the animal kingdom, aren't we? But as, you know, as say a dog or a cat coming back in that sort of, in the same way, I've not had that experience. I couldn't say no, but I can't also say yes, but I'd be inclined to say to you, I haven't come across that yet.
Well, in your extensive experience, I would imagine if that was the case, you would have had some
perhaps, but I'm always learning and discovering new things. Every day. We know we're constantly learning, we're discovering.
How can you be so good and so down to earth and so nice? What a combination. Oh, my gosh. Now, I just want to let you guys know that this live show, will not be on Facebook. So the only opportunity you're going to have is to actually come into the studio and meet with us all personally. Excellent stuff.
Yes, so those tickets will sell very, very quickly, and you can head over to our website if you'd like to find out more information, www.allaboutyouaus.com, and there will only be 80 tickets available. So literally, friends, first in, not necessarily best dressed. Once again, put your clothes back on. So if you are just out of that shower and you've thought, my goodness me, get on the phone, hop on our website there, www.allaboutyouaus.com.
Bring all your clothes along with you.
Thank you, Mitch, for coming in.
Thank you very much.
An extraordinary evening. It's been long. Thank you for sticking in there with us and coming along with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I'm absolutely honoured to have been sitting here experiencing your beautiful energy this evening.
Thank you very much, guys, and I'm honoured to be here with you both, and thank you once again. It's been fabulous.
We had a few OMG moments, let me tell you, especially being here in the studio.
And then I just said, oh, my God. Yes, there you go. OMG moments. Those readings.
Next week on the panel, we have Kerry Irwin. Love having Kerry back, thank goodness. Marg, I can hear you here. Sorry, what was that, dear? Like and share. Like and share. Can we like and share?
Our executive producer is talking to us in one ear, and sometimes when we're talking and she's talking, it's very confusing to the left and the right.
Now, you have a bit of an insight on what it's like to be a medium and hearing the spirit world.
I've got the scratchings here from Warrigal. Hold on. 3, 5 and 7, placings official.
3, 5 and 7, say it there, it comes out here.
Take 4. Next week on the panel we have Kerry Irwin. Kerry's going to be back with us. Lovely Kerry, and she'll be telling us also too about the spirit world and crossing over. She's quite talented in that area.
And Peter's coming back. Peter Hall's coming back. And Fiona Rain.
Oh, I love Fiona as well. And Linda Usop is with us too.
Oh, beautiful.
A fabulous lineup.
Oh, beautiful, Linda.
On the show. Now, if you'd like to access our guests next week on the panel, our telephone number is 1900 990 990. Leave your details, your name, your date of birth, mobile number, and a specific question. There it is on the screen. 1900 990 990. A raft of great talent on next week's program. Kerry Irwin, Peter Hall, Fiona Rain, and Linda Usop. Friends, thanks for being with us again tonight on All About You. As always, we're up to show number 44. Do you know in numerology that's a master number?
44.
Yes, 44.
I like the number 44, and of course 444 means the angels are with you. See, so I always attribute 4 with the angels as well, yes.
Do you think we'll be here by show 444?
That's a prediction. Write it down, that's a prediction.
444.
I'm reminded of John Doremus, who used to have that radio play called The Passing Parade. And up to show 444, the angels reigned in. Enough of this. Look, we'll see you next week, friends. Great to have you with us, Mitch. We love you so much.
Thank you, and good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye
Good
now.
night. Thank you.
See you,
Good night.
friends.